Sarah, thank you so much for joining me, and it's so nice to see your face.
Nice to see you too.
You look a lot like your sister.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People
Yeah,
say that. We have the same mannerisms too, I think.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
And your sister's so great. So I'm so happy to be talking to you. We spoke briefly on the phone about your divorce experience.
Yes.
What a treat they all are. And I wondered, and I'm excited for you to share with everybody sort of what happened to you. Do you want to start in the beginning at like when you met and why you got together? And then it can lead us into what happened after that.
Yeah, sure. We met at university. And so I was taking gerontology there, and he was in business, and I took business. I minored in business, so I took business classes. So we met at university and we dated for a while. Then we graduated, and I went on to do nursing school. And I grew up in Ottawa, so I did nursing school at University of Toronto.
Oh, nice.
And he's from Toronto, so I moved to Toronto, and we got married. Yeah, and so I think the first part of our marriage was the first year was great. It was good. And then kind of went downhill from there.
What you were quite young, right, at the time?
Yes. Yeah. I think I was 26 when I got married, 25, 26. Yeah. So that's young. That
is very young for
Yeah.
now. And you said that yes, the first year was good, but you had some warning signs to begin with. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I was pretty sheltered. We grew up in the country. I don't know if my sister told you that, but we had a pretty idyllic childhood. It was very nice. Our family's great. I have a brother too, and my parents are together. And yeah, we just had a really nice upbringing. And so I think I was a bit sheltered and naive.
Yeah.
And so I think that plays into it, that I just kind of expect people are good and are nice and kind.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned that that's not always the case. But yeah, there were some red flags. Like a lot of people didn't really like him. My parents were concerned. Yeah, just his behavior and sometimes how he treated me, there were red flags when we were dating, but I just gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I kind of always hoped that, this is my person. So I hope that, things will change and get better and he will be the person. He changed a lot after we were married. After the first couple of years, he changed drastically. And I just kind of hoped that he would be the person he was that I met in university, which was a different person. So
sorry, someone just came in off the port. I'm just waiting for them to go back. But so he changed a lot, you're saying.
Yeah.
In what ways would you say?
So in university he was very social. He had lots of friends. He was on a lot of the intramural teams. He was fun. He was happy. I think as our marriage progressed, he became quite angry, and isolated, didn't have very many friends, wasn't doing a lot of social activities. He worked a lot. He kind of lived to work. And he wasn't happy. He was mean. He turned out to be kind of mean, unhappy. He had a lot of anxiety too near the end, which was hard to handle. And yeah, his personality just changed a lot, I found.
And were you happy at that time, looking back?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I think when you're in the situation and then you leave a situation, you look back and you're like, holy cow, I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't myself.
Yes.
I wasn't happy. I was like getting through the days and like just living on hope, which is not something that I would recommend. Like,
no,
hope is not a plan of life, right? So
no.
I wasn't happy. No, I wasn't.
Okay, so you have 2 kids, right? Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
So you had the 2 kids and you were together for, I think you said like 13 years, let's say.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
And so at that time he was anxious and depressed and sort of being meaner than he has in the past. Which is so interesting because that's exactly how my ex was acting right before, the secrets came out and things turned. But tell us what happened, like how this all came about and what happened to start the divorce and the separation.
So I remember clearly, I remember the day it happened. So, some truths came out, and it kind of just fell apart from there. And so there was a period of time where I was hoping that we could figure stuff out and work, things out together for the kids. And we went to therapy. And then there was just a point where I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I had lost a whole bunch of weight. I wasn't sleeping. And if anybody knows me, I love sleeping. Like, it's one of the things that I do quite well. And I was just like, it was taking a toll on me. And so at one point I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't set this example for my kids. I can't
Right.
physically continue to do this because I think I was having anxiety attacks. I think I was, but I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I was still working, which I don't really know how I did that.
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, but I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Are you comfortable sharing like what happened, like how it happened and what was happening, or are you not? And we could just take it out.
Yeah. So I realize that's part of my story, and I think I don't know that I want to share it now, Heather, because there's kids involved and they don't know the truths, and so I don't want
Yes.
I don't want it to come them to find out this way.
I totally get that. No,
Yeah.
100%. And so good for you for also like shielding them from that truth,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Um,
know?
yeah. And I think that eventually it will be it's part of their story. They eventually, when they're older, will maybe find out, but I don't want them to hear outside of me talking to them and like helping them right through
No,
it.
100%. And I respect that so much. Like I couldn't respect anything actually more than wanting to protect them. And I think it's hard enough on kids to go through what
Yes.
they went through. Like how old were the kids when this happened?
So the youngest, I think he was 7 or 8. And then the youngest was he was a baby. Yeah. So, yeah.
A baby.
Yeah.
Really? So, how old are they now?
15 and 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it's been 7 years since you've been divorced.
Yes. Yeah.
How was the process of going through the lawyers and the divorce stuff? Like, was that really hard or was it easy to separate everything? How did that look?
No, it was very, very difficult. I had a good lawyer to start, and she was expensive and aggressive, and I couldn't afford her. And so I had to change lawyers. We had a mediator who I told you quit. So I went with a different lawyer, and he didn't have, I'm not sure how it works, but he wasn't able to go to court. And
I
all the
know it's
lawyers,
yeah.
yeah, all the lawyers that I worked with really pushed for me to go to court. And that's something that I didn't want to do because, first of all, it's very pricey. And second of all, it was terrifying to me to have
Same.
to sit there in a room with someone that you've gone through these things with. And so I really didn't want to do that. So I went to the second lawyer. He was quite good, but he told me at a certain point, like, I'm recommending you to go to a third lawyer because we were just at a standstill with negotiations. And there was things that weren't, that were requested that weren't being released information. And so I went to a third lawyer who was quite good. Again, who was pushing me to go to court. And I said no. Anyway, that took years and it was horrible.
Years. Like how many
Years.
years did it take to be final?
I would say maybe 3 years, I think. Yeah. So a long time, right? We had an original interim separation agreement, which was super pricey to put together, and then it wasn't followed. So then I had to do another agreement, and then you have to do the divorce papers too. But yeah, it was very stressful, hard, long. Yeah,
Desperately long. I
yeah.
know. It's so I had the same thing. I think I was telling you that Um, at first I went with sort of a medium like lawyer, and but her job was to basically put together everything in a kind way and not go to court. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
forget the name for that, but the same as you with your second one.
Yeah.
And literally we just made no progress for
Yeah.
2 years. And I, I
Yeah.
I don't even know if we did anything. Like I just felt like I kept handing over money and handing over money. And I was like, but what are we doing? And this is
Yeah.
so crazy. And then I then my family and my friends couldn't watch it anymore. They were like, we can't watch this. This is way too painful. Like you're gonna have to go to a bulldog lawyer to get this
Yeah.
sorted out. And I was still terrified.
Yeah.
But I went and he had everything done in like 3 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the worst is I almost went with him in the beginning, but
Oh, yeah.
he scared me so much that I was like, oh, you're too scary. So I would have gotten through the whole process like 2 years before if I just gone with the good lawyer to begin with.
Yeah.
But after all of that, it was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Like
Yeah.
I can't believe the amount of money that was wasted on both sides.
Yeah.
Basically just getting a normal like 50-50 situation is so frustrating.
Yeah.
And we went to mediation as well, and it wasn't helpful at all. And it was like $500 an hour.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Mediation was horrible. Mediation was horrible.
but I believe like a lot of people that haven't gone through this don't understand how difficult it is,
Mhm.
how expensive it is, and how it seems to sort of not make sense. Like when you're in it, you're like, why can't I get through this? Like, why am I stuck in this terrible spot? My new partner has been trying to get divorced for 8 years.
Yeah. Oh my
And
goodness.
and not anywhere farther than they were the first day. Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy that could happen to people. Um, the one thing I want to talk about the most is what happened after. So you finally get divorced. Did you meet your new partner soon after? Like what happened?
So my new partner is kind of a friend of a friend. And so I had met him before. And so I was going through all the horrible things that I was going through. And I heard that he was separating from his ex. And so I had said, oh, like it's, I'm struggling. It's really hard. Maybe I should reach, like I said to my friend, you can give him my number if he needs some advice or he wants to talk through things. And so we were talking a bit more at that time, but it didn't really turn into anything for a couple of years. But yeah, he's a partner, like a real partner, right? Like
Yeah,
he's
like you say that you are so much happier now.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that fair to say? And you probably like I think what you were saying is that you wouldn't give anything back. Like this was worth going through to get to this partner. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Well, I think it was very hard to go through, but I think that you take learnings from things when you go through things. And then you appreciate things more, right? You appreciate things with your kids. I appreciate things with my kids more now.
Eh,
And then I appreciate like life in general more, but also when you find someone who is like kind and giving and intelligent and funny, like I'm just was so more appreciative of like, wow, there's a person that is like this that I can hang out with, and it's like you're like, this is how it's supposed to be. Right?
Yeah,
And it's just
that's amazing.
it was so refreshing and like, wow, like men are kind and like thoughtful and like fun to be with and like and can put themselves second sometimes, right? Like that was huge for me to like understand that you can have a partner in life that
That
supports you and
isn't all about themselves.
yeah, and that lifts you up and loves you and like struggles with your struggles and wants to listen to you and yeah, it would yeah.
Like a best friend that you're attracted to.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we
Uh,
talked on the phone a lot. And I remember one time I was just telling him, oh, one of the things that a therapist told my ex and I was that you come to a relationship with like holes and gaps, and you expect the other person to fill them. And that's sometimes what can go wrong, because you need to fill those things and find those things out for yourself. You can't depend on someone else to do that. Anyway, I was scared to talk to him about this, and I was nervous to like open up to him. He listened to me and asked questions, and I was like, wow, like this is this is how it is, right? This is how it should be. It was wonderful. Yeah. And
That's so
so
great.
it just progressed from that, right? Yeah.
So you guys are married now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
How long ago did you get married?
I think 2 years ago we got married. Yeah.
2 years ago. That's amazing. And does he have kids from his
Yes,
past
he has
partner?
2 kids. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have them at the same time? What is it like having a blended family?
So it's fun. It's also hard. Like it was a big
Yes.
transition. There's lots of conversations about parenting and like making sure the kids are okay. Like we have a therapist that we talk to troubleshoot things. I think it was a big change for everybody, but we're doing the best we can. The kids don't hate each other and they play together and hang out. We have them. Their schedule switches every week, so sometimes we have them together. One weekend we do have them all together. So, but the kids are all like they're all busy, athletic, and so they're all at activities a lot. But it's fun. Like it's like chaotic and loud and fun, right?
That's amazing. And so
Yeah.
how old are his kids?
13 and 11.
Oh, so you've got like 7, 11, 13, and 15.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
Some
fun.
teenagers in the mix.
Are they boys and girls or?
They're all boys. There's one girl. The
Oh my
13-year-old
gosh,
is a girl. Yeah.
that's so fun.
Yeah.
I just love how your story is so hopeful. Do you know what I mean? Like it
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like it couldn't have gone better in the end, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's kind of why I wanted to do this, because divorce is horrible. Like there's nothing you wouldn't wish it on anybody. And there's parts where you're like you're at the lowest low. Like your last podcast person was talking about sitting on the floor and just crying, and you're like, I can't do this anymore. Like, and I think that it is hard and it's horrible. But I think you can get through it. And like there's tips and tricks to like, surround yourself with people you love, ask for help. The big thing for me was I didn't want to ask for help. I just thought I could do everything on my own. I was embarrassed, and there was shame involved, and like, people warned me about this person and I still married them. Like why did I do this? And this is the result of me making this poor decision. Right. So I think one of the key things I learned is it's okay to ask for help. Like it's okay to be low and reach out to someone, and for people have people help you, and to tell people what's going on. Right. So
Even to have like gotten better advice on the legal side of things. Like
yeah.
I didn't understand anything or who was who or what was what. Excuse me? Pardon? What? No, we're good. Sorry.
It's okay.
What was I saying, Sarah?
Oh, just getting advice on the legal part of things.
Yeah. Like just even getting advice on the legal side. I didn't know even that I'd chosen a lawyer that wouldn't go to court. Like I didn't understand, like I wish someone had handed me a handbook and been like, okay, you're going to go to this lawyer. You're going to not do this. You're going to not do that. You're going to talk to this group of people. Like it was so alienating, I felt at the time. And I didn't know anyone else that had gone through it. So I think that's a really good point. Like reach out for help. Like even if it's to me or to anybody, like it's really almost impossible to go through on your own without any support.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember the lawyer, remember you have to give them like a breakdown of all your household costs and everything. And like the first lawyer I had, and first of all, I had no self-esteem. Like I was pretty low at the end, right?
Yes.
And so I didn't want to ask for anything, and I didn't think that I deserved anything. And then I put all these household expenses together, and she was like, Sarah, like a person who's homeless spends more money on groceries than you do. Like it was like that stuff like that I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just want this to be over. I don't want to ask for anything. But like that was not the right mindset to go into things with, right? Like,
and I think for a lot of us, like you, Kathleen, myself, so far, it's like you're so battered down at that point
Yeah.
that you're right. There's like no self-esteem. I didn't recognize myself.
Yeah.
I felt like ashamed too. And because we had been fighting so much, and like, not that my ex ever did anything to like hurt me, but I felt like, is this because of me?
Yeah.
And like, and I felt really, really badly about myself, which then made it really hard to fight. Like I was
Yeah.
in no shape to be like, okay, I'm getting divorced today and tomorrow I'm gonna fight,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So that was really challenging. But I love this story and I'm so excited to share it with people because I think it is a true story of hope and you
Mhm.
are a strong, amazing woman.
Thank you.
And I think you deserve all the happiness in the world. And I'm just so happy to talk to you. And I hope that we can meet in person soon.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Yes,
That
I
would be
would love
great.
that.
We could go
Yeah.
out for a glass of wine.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. You are the best.
You're
And
welcome.
I just appreciate this so much.
Okay. Nice to talk with you. Nice to see you.
Hey. Okay. Bye for
Okay.
now.
Bye.